Sup folks, this is Dan from Discern, and these are my thoughts on the new track from Sho Baraka, Fathers. Sho Baraka is a hip-hop artist from Atlanta who has had very recently a major shift in his artistic trajectory. He started his career as a founding member of the 116 Clique, part of Reach Records. He then went independent and co-founded the record label High Society, and now, as of just about a week ago, he is officially a signed artist to Humble Beast Records. He's joining what I think is the most talented and gospel-saturated of the bigger and more well-known Christian hip-hop labels. He's part of it now, you know. He's with Beautiful Eulogy, Jackie Hill Perry, Jay Givens, and Propaganda. Stellar lineup, seriously. And as he joined Humble Beast, he released a few new tracks in the days following. The Road to Humble, a track reflecting on his journey as an artist, the growth God has worked in him, features the very clever and historically informed line, "I'm still unashamed, I'm just a little more humble now." 116 Clique, Romans 116, not ashamed, Humble Beast. I think you get the picture. He also released the track I'm going to be talking about today, Fathers. This is a track about, you guessed it, fathers. It's a timely release too. It came out just a few days before Father's Day, intentionally, of course. But this track and Road to Humble were actually both produced by James Portier. I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name. A producer with a lot of soul and jazz influences, who blends that with hip-hop rhythms and vocals. His beats often feature a lot of live instrumentation, very snappy drum sets, cleanly picked guitar lines, cool as a cat bass grooves, a very timeless rhythm section sound. And this song here, Fathers, also features some delicate touches of piano, rich splashes of horns, and some subtle falsetto vocal harmonies. So many feels going on in this track. It's not very dynamic though, but that's not really the intent, I think, because much like the image of a selfless, unconditionally loving father that this song pictures, the instrumental is just a constant, strong groove that just hangs around. It's always there. It's faithfully staying true, staying the same. I really do think the instrumental is reflective of these fatherly characteristics: mature, refined, tested, controlled, but also brimming with heart and soul. And like the lyrics in the hook say, "Through thick or thin, we gonna hold it down." That's the instrumental in a nutshell, if you ask me. So, in regards to lyrics, the first verse of this song is mostly a rundown of like do's and don'ts from a father to a son. It's a father, explaining to his son what makes a good father, what he wants his son to grow up into. A man of honest character, has respect for women, respect for authority. And I love the last line in that verse. In the context of marriage, it says, "Don't marry her if you don't plan to bury her." That's some beautifully packaged truth right there. The second verse, similar in tone to the first, but the direction and guidance he's giving here is directed towards his daughter, and he's laying a vision of what he hopes she will grow up to be. A woman who's defined by more than the culture's definition of beauty, outward only, skin deep. A woman who can strongly and wisely bring reform, bring change to the culture around her. He even points her to women who've walked that path before and have now passed on, both Lena Horne and Fannie Lou Hamer, both courageous civil rights activists in our country's history. And the third verse is more of a depiction of Sho Baraka's personal role as a father, and even just his a basic reflection, I guess, on the role of a father in general, whether to a son or a daughter. Sho Baraka is going to be 40 in a few years, and you can tell that he's joyfully settled into family life. And I'm actually excited to see how his midlife perspective will impact his music and his lyrics going forward. Because it's clear in this song that his relationship to his children has definitely shaped his understanding of love, of failure, of grace. And I gotta mention one of my favorite lines in this track. Any fool with a tool can reproduce, but a father is that dude who will see it through. Oh man, that's a nice one. That is well put, and a succinct blend of playful wit and profound wisdom. And finally, there's a facet of this track that cannot be forgotten. It's a timely cultural feature of this track's importance. He knows the labels and the types that far too many men in this world have lived up to, abandoning their kids, abandoning mothers, the complete opposite of manliness, living only for yourself, your pleasures, your choices. And the statistics of single mothers and fatherless children in this country is discouragingly high. I mean, it's unsustainably high for the future of all our communities. And it's been particularly bad in poor communities and in minority communities. So when Sho Baraka, a black man, releases a song like this, he well, and in the music video, I should say, featuring mostly black fathers and their families, he's being very intentional. He knows the situation, he knows the reality, and I love his honesty, where he's not willing to back down from the truth, but he also delivers it gently and carefully. Like when he says in the verse, reflecting sort of father to his son, he says, "And when the cops approach, you may have to put your hands up." It's a fact of life for many black men in the world, especially in this country. But it's no excuse to rebel, as you see a few lines later when he says, "Be critical, but never partner with defiance." It's walking that very difficult line between standing up for what is right and respecting the governing authorities that God has put in place, like it says in Romans 13. So it's clear the specific climate and the situation, the specific problem, facing his community isn't lost on Sho Baraka. And one of his last few lines in the final verse addresses that. He says, "Forget the stereotypes. There are good men out there." He knows the stats. He knows the current state of things. And thank the Lord, he so graciously wants to lift men out of that. His lyrics don't reflect a self-righteous go-getter, but a humble servant, daily reliant on the grace of God. Grace for the power to live in obedience and grace to wash away the sins of disobedience. And Sho Baraka, I think, has eyes to see. He's been given that spiritual sight. And in this track, he points fathers in the right direction because he sees the alternate path. Most of his lyrics are positive pushes towards righteousness and encouragements rather than rebukes or reprimands away from sin. He doesn't need to bring the heat, bring the fire, the sting of rebuke. This is a track that is really full of grace and mercy. There's forgiveness, there's peace and love for all failing fathers, And that love that God the Father has shown to us is the exact picture of love that worldly fathers should have for their children. It's sacrificial, it's selfless, it's unending, it's committed. And in this song, the picture he paints of the perfect Father is a gospel picture of our God. That's who God is to us who believe, who have faith in the finished work of Jesus Christ. He is that perfect Father to us. And with that, I'm going to wrap things up here. Thank you for watching this review video. New track reviews just like this release every Wednesday, and new album reviews release every Friday. If you like what you see here, you like this content, please subscribe to the channel. It is the best way to make sure you don't miss any new reviews. And if you want to hear this track by Sho Baraka, there is a link to it in the description, and there is a link to his Twitter. If you have a question or a comment for me about this track or not about this track, you can comment below this video. You could tweet at me at discernreviews. You can send me an email, discernreviews@gmail.com. If you've listened to this song, what did you think of it? Let me know what you're feeling in the comments. Maybe you agree with me, maybe you disagree with me. Either way, I would love to hear from you. Anyway, hope this helped. See ya.